Today I'll be showing us how to make a wide brim net fascinator in this video.
You're a rolling stone, but I'm a cannonball.
My name is Dolapo and I am the creative director of Dolly B Crafties. So these are the materials I'll be using in this video. I have this net material. I have satin doll face. Okay, I have my art wire. I covered it with thread. I doubled the thread multiple times and I covered it wire with it, so you can use any measurements of choice. Then I have my molded base. I molded it with paper mat. I covered it with this satin and this net. Alright, I have my UHE glue and I have feather. I have the thread that matches the color of my materials. I have this rose flower to embellish with. I have Petersham ribbon. This is Petersham ribbon. We also need a glue gun to fix some of these materials on our base. And we have needles to work with. I'll be using more of the small needle. Okay, so let's get started. Now, the first thing I did was to mold this base. I molded it with paper mat. This is the paper mat I used. I covered it with satin of the same color and the net material. Okay, and then I've wired it. I wired it before covering it with all this fabric. Okay? If you don't know how to cover a molded base with fabric, please you need to join our beginners class. So that is for that. So I have my wire. I've covered it with thread like I mentioned earlier, round. Okay. The next thing we'll be doing is to cover this wire with our net this way. I used thread to cover this wire so that I'll have something to hold down the net to it with my glue. That is why I covered the wire with thread. So now I'm going to be using my glue to secure the net to the wire. I will apply glue round the net, around the wire, I mean. Having done that, I'll allow the glue dry a little. So I have my clips to work with here. I have my clips to work with. What I'll be doing with this is I'll cover, this is the wrong side of the net facing up. I think it has a wrong and right side. So I'm going to just glue it to it like this, using my net to hold it down. I come to this other side, the opposite direction. I take it over like that. Okay, and I glue it. I make sure I pull the net so that it will be very firm, but at the same time I don't want to alter this circle because I want it to be in form of a round shape, so I'm not going to alter it. So I'm going to pull this like this as well. Then I use my clips to secure it down to my wire while it's dry. I continue to apply glue. I have my glue there and I pull like that. You pull to make it firm here. You need to pull to make it firm, and at the same time you don't alter the shape of this wire. I just want to be in form of a circle. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue. I'll allow it dry and I'll show you what we'll be doing next. I have it round like that. I'll glue this bit to you. So I'll just go ahead and secure the net on it and I will allow it dry. I've glued my net to my wire brim. This is how it looks like on the under part. Okay, so the next thing I did was to secure it with needle and thread. It's always better so that it doesn't come off later. So I'm just going to go ahead and secure it. Let me show you how to. I'm just going to take my needle through like this and sew like that. I can just take the needle through the thread on the wire itself and sew like that. So that is how I did the sewing round, and I'm going to just end it right here. So after that, I'm picking up the excess net. Okay, be sure not to cut off the main net as you're trimming off the excesses. Next thing we'll be doing is to cover this with our Petersham ribbon. I've taught us how to do this in the other video on how to make a satellite fascinator, the wide brim satellite fascinator. Apply my glue like this, and then glue it round like that up to this point, like this. As you can see, I've covered the edges of my wire with petition ribbon. You can use bias as well. So this is my molded base, and on my crown I'm going to place it right here. And where I want to place it like this, it's facing up. I place it this way, and we're going to be gluing it like this. So before then, I'll apply my glue not on this edge, just a little bit away, like here. Can you see where I am putting my glue? This is another way of attaching your crown to your net brim. This is another method. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue like that. So I place this like this. I set it where I want it to be, like this, and I'll be using my clips to hold it down like this. Can you see? For it to glue. I can just tear this middle part a little for me to have allowance to work with. So I'll just glue around like that, allow it dry, then I'll show you the next step. So can you see, I tore this inner part a little while working, so I'll be able to push the net down to glue to where I placed my gum or my glue. So I'll just go ahead and do that, and then allow it dry. After it is dry, then I'll take off my clips. Okay, so now it is dry. We're going to trim off this excess just here, right here, like this. Can you see? Just a little bit away from where the crown is attached. This is where the crown is. I'll just cut the net off from here like this, round of this excess like this. I've trimmed it off. The next thing for us to do is to cover this with her bias. So I'll just go ahead and cover this inner part neatly, round like that. Cover it round. I'm done. Covering this part with my bias, as you can see, and then I'll place my Alice band somewhere here where I want it to be. So, but before then, this is going to serve as the back of the art, and this is going to be the front. So I will just place my feather. This is my feather. I will just need to trim this off. I'll just need to trim this off. Trim it off like this up to this point. Can you see? I trim off the other side as well neatly. So I just trim it off like this. Okay, up to this point. Okay, I'm going to do this neatly. You can use your blade to do that neatly if you have that. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do this neatly off camera. But before that, let me show you what I'll be doing with this. If I find this too long, I may actually trim. So this is where I'm going to be placing my feathers. I actually place it on my manicure head to set it. So I'm going to go ahead and apply my hot glue like this. Then I place my feather, after which I'm going to place my rose. with my glue. Go ahead and use my hot glue. So I'll just attach it like this and place it where I want to place it. Then I cover it with my fabric. Okay, I can cover it with my fabric right here.